Morning, folks. Jer here on Thursday, the 24th of November, with some Leeds news. Quick one today. We'll get in there between the World Cup games as well. Not a lot of people around, so we'll just start off and we'll couple bits to go through. Today's news, we're going to cover the 49ers latest on them. Some information coming out from Italy around Sasa, Lukic and Leeds' move for the player. VAR changes that are coming into place possibly in the second half of the season that will possibly impact Leeds, and some incoming news, and we're going to say it, put a penny in the jar, information on the rumored remove or move again for Charles de Ketelare at AC Milan. Thought that one was dead, didn't we? So we'll crack on. We'll start off with the 49ers. And this one comes from MOT Leeds, who have a finance expert, Dr. David Plumley, working with him for a couple of weeks, doing some articles and giving some insight on the takeover from the 49ers. What he has said so far today is that he believes that, or insists that it is incredibly unlikely that any takeover will happen from the 49er enterprises in the next couple of weeks. So that was ruled out January. He reckons that there are two options from the 49ers. One that we know is in January 2023. We know that now. And there's a second option, which is at the end of 2024. So another year away. But Dr. Plumley says the World Cup has had an impact on this. Will delay things because people are away. Experts are away. The board members are all away. And he said that he also believes that Leeds' future in the Premier League has a major impact on this. And what he said is, I think it'll change. I think in the next couple of weeks, it's unlikely that there's there's an awful lot more to this. And what he says is a lot hinges on this as well. And I think that's definitely down to the Leeds United Premier League status. He reckons that one of the clauses in one of those two deals with the 49ers is a Leeds Premier League status. I'm not so sure. That is only his opinion. That is, to be just be clear on that. It is only his opinion. So we'll have to wait and see with that. Just jump into the chat real quick. A couple of people knocking about. We have Andy. Good morning, Andy. How you doing, mate? Ian, is it time for afternoon tea already? May as well. Let's get into it. I could do it a cup of tea. Joe Depp, good morning. And we've got Gary. Morning, mate. Watch every day. First time live. Got you live. Oh, nice. 100% pleasure. 100%. Yeah. Gary, it is my pleasure. I love doing these for you guys, so absolutely my pleasure. And thanks for dropping in. We'll talk about CDK at the end of the video. We'll get to that in a few minutes. So, but we will move on from the 49er stuff and talk about Sasa Lukic. Not easy name to say sometimes. And what he is saying is that according to Forza Roma, this comes from the Forza Notes publication. According to Forza Roma, Leeds are in the front running to sign the Torino midfielder, number 10, in the January transfer window. It is said that AS Roma are also linked with the player, but AS Roma may have an issue paying a transfer fee. What is said is that David Venati, the club sporting director, has made it very clear that any interested parties in Lukic will have to pay £12.9 million, which you would suggest is not an awful lot for the 26-year-old number 10, who has 3 goals and 17 assists so far this season, has been described as being in very good form. The issue here for AS Roma, which pushes Leeds out, is not necessarily his wages. He earns about $603,000 a year, including bonuses, currently at Torino. Roma and Leeds are said to be able to double that apparently, but that there's the actual upfront payment of 12.9 million. Roma won't be in a position to pay that, but Leeds maybe. There's a lot. We've said this week and last week a lot. There seems to be a lot of financial problems amongst the Spanish and Italian football clubs at the moment. So what that means is Leeds may be able to nick in and get him. He has said it. We said it yesterday and the day before. He has said he wants to leave after the World Cup. So he is away with the Serbian national team at the moment. You can check them out. I think it's today they're playing. Have a good look at Sasa Lukic, see what you think. He is a number 10. Possibly Leeds are lacking, and a potential replacement if it looks like Click is going to move in the January window. Jump back into the chat real quick. McDonald, good morning. Great. Oh, my problem, Mick. And my pleasure, I should say. Declan Murphy, it's been okay. Big Stu, up. Enter the CDK rumor. Yeah, we're going to get into that in a second. Just subscribe and updates. I appreciate the subscription. Thank you very much, Leon. You're a star. Andy Wong, I'd sooner have Bamford than CDK. I don't know anymore. I get the sentiment, but I don't know. Snowy Canada. Hello, Canada. Unlucky yesterday, Canada. Very unlucky. Hey, Chris, how are you? Nipper, how's things on the beach? I knew you were going to do it. Rich Sullivan, morning, Jer. I am. I'm in good form, mate. Hope you're all well as well. And Gigi, morning, Jer. Surely just nonsense that Gakpo CDK are on Leeds radar. We can't afford to buy Gakpo. We probably can't afford to buy CDK. The interesting thing about this is, and we spoke about this when the CDK stuff came up before, This was a move where the San Francisco 49ers or 49er enterprises saw value in the transfer. And basically what they were offering to do was they were offering to put the money up front to get the signing done, to smash Leeds' transfer record, but that they would then take that price off the valuation of the club when it went to buying the club. So like an equity swap for cash. And Radrizzani apparently at the time was keen on it, but it didn't happen. And we did hear Radrizzani say before they moved to Tule what Team Talk are saying today, and we'll get to that. I'm holding off. We've got one more story, and then we'll get to CDK. But there is information about that, so I'll get you in a sec. So VAR changes that are happening in the league. So the Premier League is looking at adopting the semi-automated offside system that's been run at the World Cup so far during this World Cup, which it seems so far to have gone quite well. It will be voted on by all 20 Premier League clubs and is expected to pass. It uses basically AI, a ball tracking system, to create a 3D model, which gives them a more truer picture of whether it's an offside or not. Kind of removes the human error as well. It might stop these late flags going up as well that are causing problems. Basically what it does, it uses the cameras at a position to create a model. That's basically what it does. So there will be a vote on that. We'll have to wait and see what comes back on that. And then moving on to the final story and the main story of the day, and we'll talk about Charles the Ketelare. This comes from James Marshman and also a Team Talk exclusive is how this is being packaged. Leeds, according to Team Talk and James Marshman, Leeds have contacted AC Milan and are asking to be kept informed of the situation about the player. The Ketelare has struggled so far this season. He's got 1 assist in 18 games, but for me, what I've seen of him, he hasn't played in the position Leeds are looking at playing him in. I think Leeds were looking at playing him as number 9. And it looks, from what I've seen with him play, is he plays wide or as a deep 10 for them, which obviously doesn't really get to the main attributes that the player has. Sources have told Team Talk that Leeds still want to purchase CDK, and that can also help them is the fact that AC Milan are looking at bringing in a loan move for Hakim Ziyech from Chelsea, and that will put more pressure on CDK in that role. Also, Zlatan Ibrahimovic hasn't played this season because of an operation on the knee, and they're just minding his recovery. And that when he comes back into the fold, you've got possibly Ziyech, you've got Zlatan as well as Giroud, who's on a great season. And then just CDK is possibly falling down the pecking order. It might have been the right move for the CDK, but it might have been the right move a little bit too early for him. He is said to be struggling at settling in Milan as well. He did live with his family when he moved there. I think they've gone with him, but it's a tough one for him. So it'll be interesting to see, as Paolo Maldini has basically said, they didn't sign CDK for 1 season or for 1/2 a season. They signed CDK for a 5-year contract, and that they're okay and willing to wait for that. You could be looking at a loan move temporarily or something like that. But I think what it's looking like is the move to Leeds, that stepping stone move that everyone talked about, probably looked like the better move for him. Give him a chance to adapt to a league, get him plenty of games and minutes at a high level, not the huge amount of pressure that comes from playing for a team that are competing with Napoli for the top of the title in Serie A. So there's a lot of extra competition there as well. It's a much bigger move from where he was in Bruges. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen with that. I personally don't think it'll go anywhere. I think it's probably a smoke screen. I think Leeds would like to have him, but they're not going to get him. Just last couple of checks on the chat. Matt, do you really want to play or didn't want to come to Leeds in the first place? See, this is the thing. This was really taken out of context. The player himself never said he didn't want to go to Leeds. He said his preference was AC Milan. That doesn't say that he doesn't want to play for Leeds. He had 2 options. He go, well, if I had to pick between the 2, I'd rather play for the Champions League team who are competing at the top of their table in Serie A. And I don't think you can argue with that. I think that's, from a player's perspective, it's probably the most attractive move. He was offered a lot more money at Leeds and turned that down. So he was going to AC Milan for footballing reasons and not for financial reasons, and that's admirable in itself. You've got to be careful with this. There's a lot of people jump on the bandwagons. A lot of things said on Twitter, reactions to players who don't come to Leeds. If we didn't want to come here, then we shouldn't touch him. That's not necessarily what happened. What happened was he had a preference over AC Milan to Leeds. He wasn't opposed to Leeds. If AC Milan couldn't do the deal, he would have come to Leeds. So there's that. Jim, CDK going nowhere. Davis, Canada player, would be great. Jonathan Davies, yeah, he did okay. Yes, he missed a penalty, obviously, but he's a decent player. And Declan Murphy, Dan James score hat-trick for Wales. Maybe Dan James finishing. Maybe. That's pretty much it, folks. I know it's a quiet one today. I hope you're all enjoying the football and getting as much out of it as you can. Today is Friday, today's Thursday. I'll see you in the morning then. I'm not going to do any videos over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I've got some stuff to do. So we'll only have a video tomorrow morning, be the last video for this week. I really appreciate everyone jumping in and joining in with the live streams this week. I've really enjoyed doing the live streams. We will probably be reverting back to the normal system from next week or the week after. Well, on Monday morning if we're going to do it live or not. But I've really enjoyed doing it this way. So Thanks very much. Biggie Fish, not another CDK smoke screen for us doing no business in January. I think if we do no business in January, we're in trouble. I think we have to do some business in January, especially if it looks like Click is going to leave and Forshaw is going to leave in January as well. So we need to move. I wouldn't jump the gun and say Leeds won't do anything just yet. I think they have to. The 49er stuff is going to be interesting. But Leeds have to do something. They can't just sit back and do nothing in January. I think it would be a suicide move if we do that. I think we could definitely look at ourselves dropping out of the league if we do that. Other teams will strengthen, and that'll be the key. Can we get in and get it done early? I like the look of Sasa Lukic from what I've seen and what I've looked up at him. They're all YouTube clips, but which don't give a great, rounding view of the player. But he looks okay. We'll get a good look at him in the World Cup and see what we think. But 12.9 million. It's a decent amount of money for a player. We could should be able to afford that much at least. And then possibly bring in an attacker as well. We'll wait and see who that might be. Anyway, that's fine. Who we got here? Matt, that's a fair point, mate. Do need Leeds fans want their club to be stepping stone? Yeah, but there is a reality, Matt, that where we are right now, I said this a couple of weeks ago, there's got to be a dose of realism here. We're only on a third year back in the Premier League after nearly 20 years out of it, like 16 years out of the Premier League. It's going to take time. We can't expect to just be a top 16 within 3 years. It's not going to happen that way. We've got to move slowly. And if it is a case of bringing in these players for a bit that help push us up a bit, then we can sell them on for more money, bring in more players. We've got this great youth system coming through as well. There is merit to it. I see it. And I don't want us to copy the Leicester model fully because it doesn't work fully. And I would like us to hang on to some of our better players for longer. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it's an interesting one, Matt. Ice Bailey, I'm more interested in whether CDK was cloned from but he's not playing up front for AC Milan, that seems to be the biggest problem. Sam, thanks, Sam. Appreciate that. Julie Knight, hey, I'm doing good, Julie. How are you doing? And Nipper, last one for the day. Feels like Friday every day in sunny Tenerife, Jib. Good vibes. I'm glad you're having a great time, Nipper. We'll have to see what happens in my summer. Right, folks, that's it. Thanks very much for joining me. And I will see you back here tomorrow morning with some Leeds news, if there is any. And I'll talk to you then. Bye.